Max Verstappen has taken 14 race victories after 20 races this season so far, with 2 more to go, giving himself the record of the most number of race wins in a season, ahead of Michael Schumacher's record in 2004 and Sebastian Vettel's in 2013, both on 13 race wins. He also now holds the record for the most number of points gathered in a single season. But was this season of Verstappen's actually better than those of Vettel and Schumacher? Well, Verstappen, just like Vettel and Schumacher at the time, won the Drivers' World Championship and Constructors' World Championship. During the season, the Dutchman has reminded many of his predecessors of Schumacher and Vettel in the way that he's gone about his racing and the dominance he's had on track ahead of Lewis Hamilton and others. Yet there is a big difference between this season and the season in which Vettel and Schumacher booked their 13 race victories: the number of races and the number of points available. Therefore, instead of wins, we're going to sort through the statistics of those seasons based on percentages and count the number of points using the modern point scoring system, aka 25 points for a victory and an extra point for the fastest lap. On this basis, this way we can compare the 3 seasons. Now, Michael Schumacher became world champion in 2004, winning 13 of the 18 races that season. Only Jarno Trulli, Kimi Räikkönen, Rubens Barrichello twice, and Juan Pablo Montoya won a race that year. Schumacher won 72% of the races that season, and his best winning streak was 7 race victories in a row. Schumacher also captured pole position 8 times out of 18 that year, 44%, and 10 times he had the fastest lap out of the 18 races, or 55%. Schumacher scored a total of 148 points that year, but that's so low mainly because F1 was using the old point scoring system. With the modern system that we use, updating the score tally, Schumacher would have 377 points that year, including of course the additional points for fastest laps. Sebastian Vettel became world champion in 2013, winning 13 of the 19 races available, or 68% of them. Only Kimi Räikkönen, Fernando Alonso twice, Nico Rosberg twice, and Lewis Hamilton were race winners that year along with Vettel. His best run was 9 race victories in a row, and the German won the last 9 races of the season that year. Vettel also captured pole position 9 times out of 19 that year, or 47% of the time, and had the fastest lap 7 times, or 37% of the time. In total, Vettel scored 397 points that season, which, if you add in the additional points for the fastest lap, would be a grand total of 404. Finally, we come to Verstappen and this year. The Dutchman has won 14 of the 20 races so far and could make it to 16 victories after 22 races. Now, currently Verstappen is at a win percentage of 70%, but this could jump to around about 73%, or 72.7 if you really want to get technical about it, if he wins 16 of the 22 races. With that, he would surpass Schumacher, 72% in 2004, in terms of the percentage of wins that year. With 15 victories after 22 races, 68%, or 14 victories after 22 races, 64%, Schumacher would remain the big dog in the win percentage terms. Verstappen can no longer take the overall win percentage record that is held by Alberto Ascari, of 75% of the races were won by him in 1952. He actually won 6 of just 8 races that year, did Ascari. Verstappen's best winning streak this year was 5 consecutive victories, a run that he can no longer expand on or equal this season. Now, Verstappen has of course retired twice this year in Bahrain and Australia, and furthermore, he finished 3rd in Monaco, 2nd in Austria, and 7th in the Grand Prix of Great Britain and Singapore. Verstappen has also captured pole position 6 times out of the 20 races so far, or 30% of the time, and come out as a maximum of 8 times if he does it in the final 2 races, or 36% of the time. Either way, he will be well behind Vettel's 47% and Schumacher's 44% that they set in their championship years. Verstappen is now 416 points in his grand total accumulated so far this season, and that can be moved up to a maximum of 476 points. However, this also includes sprint races. Verstappen won the sprint race in Imola and in Austria. If we take those, and those of the Brazilian Grand Prix as well, and remove them from the equation, the maximum point total, because Schumacher and Vettel of course didn't have sprint races in their day, Verstappen can reach is 452 points after 22 races. Now this is still a lot more than Vettel and Schumacher, which is not surprising because Verstappen drove 4 and 5 races respectively more than his German colleagues. After 18 races this season, however, if you want to roll it back slightly and make it more fair, Verstappen had 350 points, of course minusing the sprint races. That is fewer than Vettel's 379 and Schumacher's 377 points total that they had in 2013 and 2004 respectively after 18 races with modern scoring involved. Yeah, it's all getting a little complicated, but here's the brunt of it. Verstappen can only surpass Michael Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel on the basis of winning percentage in a season. And even to do that, he has to win the last 2 races in 2022. In terms of the percentage of pole positions and the fastest laps in a season, Verstappen will be behind the 2 modern greats, regardless of what happens at the end of this 2022 season. But I guess that just means that the Red Bull driver has something else to aim for next season and beyond. And we know that Max Verstappen wants to be the greatest of all time. Remember, GP fans, you can follow all of the breaking news in Formula 1 and GP Fans Global on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok as well for all the latest updates.